I'm married to Yuka. We've been together for about 25 years. I have two daughters, Sayana and Mayana. Sayana's a University of Western Australia student, and Mayana's in year 11 at a school in WA. Well, I was a late developer. I left school in Blackburn, England, at the age of 16 with no qualifications. Just like so many people, young people did, put on a backpack, travelled, and then met Yuka when I was 21 in Japan, stayed there for about 4 years, then moved to Hong Kong when I was 25. Decided that I needed to get a formal education, so I did a couple of A-levels by correspondence. This is at the end of the 80s, there's no internet then. And then was admitted to do law from the age of 27 at the London School of Economics, where I was there, got a degree, graduated in 1992. I spent the 1992-1993 year preparing for the solicitor's final examination of the Law Society of England and Wales, which I successfully passed, and then I returned to Hong Kong. Well, I got into the immigration business really by accident. Straight out of law school, I started a legal consulting practice, helping businesses to set up their presence in Hong Kong, register trademarks, write their employee handbook, do employment contracts and the like. And very early on in the piece, I realised I was just kind of being a one-man, poor man's alternative to a solicitor's firm, and didn't really want to do that. And so I had an opportunity to specialise in Hong Kong immigration. Business that were coming to Hong Kong and wanted to bring a couple of their employees. I incorporated the company for them, and I made sure that they were compliant on the business registration side and helped them solve a few sort of market entry issues as part and parcel of the service. And when it came to the immigration piece, I figured, even though I've done it before, I'll just go to the law library and pull out from the law library what's required to do immigration. Because the one thing they teach you at law school is how to find the law, and I figured it would all be there in the law library, but shock horror, when I got there was absolutely nothing. Nothing whatsoever on Hong Kong immigration and how it went, and how you go about doing it for people. So, as it happened, I sort of fumbled my way through, got the job done. And increasingly, we developed a specialisation and expertise in immigration such that by 1996, we stopped doing all legal consulting generally stated. And we were specialising purely in the Hong Kong immigration piece. So in 1996, I had a business relationship with a Japanese lady who had a PR and a publishing firm, and she told me that it would be a really good idea if I wrote a book on Hong Kong immigration, and she would publish it in Japanese, and that would then effectively put a flag in the ground and state to the Japanese community of Hong Kong that we were, the expert firm in Hong Kong immigration, recognising that if you want to become an expert in something, you write a book in it. So that's exactly what I did. But just about the time that it was finished, unfortunately, the Asian economic crisis was upon us, and she'd gone bankrupt. So I had no outlet for this book, which was written in both English and translated into Japanese. So we had a client at the time that was one of the first internet service providers in Hong Kong, Internet Solutions Limited, and they suggested to us that we should put the handbook onto the internet and sort of use it as a free resource for people. And I thought that sounds like a good idea, because I had no other use for it, and that's what we did. And that exercise effectively marked the beginning of what was something of a meteoric rise in my immigration profile and the nature of the practice in Hong Kong, which was called LLB Consultancy Limited. We moved to Australia as a family in 2000, recognising that Hong Kong is a great place to do business, but not especially a fabulous place to raise a young family, and WA had quite a lot to offer for us. So I've effectively been commuting between Hong Kong and Western Australia for about 12-13 years now.